Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Basic Trouble podcast, the podcast with a lot of talk about music and a little bit of swearing. My name's Ashish.
And I'm Nirupama. Before we introduce the topic, we've got a guest on the podcast today. His name's Mohit, and he produces music. So we're going to be talking about music production. Um, Mohit, your influences and everything. So we have
Mhm.
a tradition every week where we get started off with an absolutely random question. I promised Ashish it wouldn't be about insects and insect meals
Don't even
today.
mention.
I mean, bro, okay. Insects are easier questions to ask, but okay. Alright, I think you should take the random questions this week. Because I was gonna
Sure.
ask you whether you'd be friends with a hippopotamus or a
No, no, no.
rhinoceros.
Okay, hippos are nicer at least. Not bugs, dude.
Okay,
Bugs are.
debatable, but okay. Hit me with a random question. Let me be the judge of which one is better.
Mine was the hippopotamus and rhinoceros one.
Okay, so do I really have to answer that question?
I think Ashish is gonna ask you a question. I think that's the safer bet.
Sure, hit me with it.
Random question. What's your favorite dog breed?
It has to be the beagle. No, the short, the cute, the smart. Basically me, but I'm tall.
Oh, flex.
See, yes,
I'm a beagle but tall.
yeah, I'm a tall beagle.
What a weird way to word your Tinder profile. I'm a beagle but tall.
They look nice on your resume. A little description about yourself. Beagle
I'm
but
I'm a
tall.
tall beagle. See, come to think of it, beagles are the smartest. I mean, the smartest dogs I've met at least.
I was
And
gonna
then
say
I don't know.
golden retriever. They have like big brain, but okay.
See, basic biology dictates that beagles have a larger brain to body weight ratio.
My favorite breed is a golden retriever because they're really cute and they're like kind of stupid, so they run around and stuff.
So it's basically you.
Sure.
How about you, Ashish?
Probably German Shepherds or Huskies. Both of them,
Huskies.
as puppies, they look really amazing. And then when they become big, they're like protective dogs and they're like massive dogs as well.
Okay, so about today's topic, we're going to be talking about music production. Mohit, you're an audio engineer, right? Could you tell us more about that?
So I'm going to tell you what being an audio engineer is. So audio engineers are basically people who make everything you listen to sound good. There is a certain quality that people tend to expect from any sort of recording when it's professionally made, and an audio engineer is the person who ensures that quality is maintained. So that's basically what I do. I make things sound good. That's basically all I do.
Okay, so where did you get trained from? Like, did you formally get trained, or are you a self-trained audio engineer?
Okay, I am a mix of both, really. I didn't go to an audio engineering school as such. I never went to any sort of professional learning center for any sort of music production or anything like that. But I did an apprenticeship under an audio engineer for about 9 months in a studio in Jayanagar. So that happens to be pretty much all of the experience that I have about audio engineering. Listening to him sit in the studio, listening to him mix stuff and stuff like that. That's exactly how I gained my knowledge about audio engineering. And yeah, he's a proper professional. He does stuff for big bands that have a lot of name. Let's just say. So yeah, that is basically how
Drop
I
the name.
learned about.
Drop the name.
No. Should I really be dropping the name? Okay, his name is Anirudh. Okay.
Okay.
He mixes for bands
Both of your
like
voices are going out.
yeah. So I happen to spend the majority of a summer plus the next 6 months working with him on a project. So you might have heard of a comedy trio called the Busy Bele Boys, right?
Oh yeah.
We did a project together, so we almost worked for like 7-8 months together on it. It was a pretty long project, but
Right.
then at the end of it I had learned a lot more about audio engineering than I thought I knew. So yeah, that's a win.
So yeah, Ashish, a little about the Vesivele Boys. They're an improv group. All three members are in PS right now. They're not as funny. I mean, they are obviously funnier than us. And yeah, they opened for
It's not as
Akash
much.
Gupta at PS last time, and they keep doing a lot of shows.
It's like brilliant. He just names drops like a big group, and they're not as funny. Okay, they're not funny, but yeah, fine, they're there.
Of
Avinash is
course.
gonna kill me, Ashish.
Hey, listen, if he comes to kill you, just like as a last wish, right? Just
Just say
tell him
basic
to
treble
go on the
podcast.
Basic Travel podcast. Yeah,
Just say
as your
like,
last
share,
dying words.
subscribe, anything,
Go
bro.
on the
Like,
basic.
See, I
No, but
walked
if he
into a
says like,
podcast
share, and subscribe, that will
expecting
be funny.
basic treble. I got trouble.
yeah, no, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, coming back to topic, who are your influences? I mean, this is not related to the music you mix and related to the music you mix.
My musical influences, a lot of people really. I take inspiration from people like A.R. Rahman. I take inspiration from people like David Guetta. See, the thing is, I tend to take inspiration from people that are good at what they do, and that is basically all it takes for me to find inspiration from that particular person. In terms of sound, there are people like Dead Mouse, there are people like KSHMR, Martin Garrix. There are a lot of people who come up with interesting sounds, a really innovative and original way of conveying a note, or injecting life into a sequence of notes, as I say. That is, I mean, if you count influences, I mean, I can count my own mother, who's classically trained as an influence. I can count legendary audio engineers. I can count score composers. All of them are my influences. So yes, if somebody is good at what they do, they are an influence to me. No, it need not be related to sound. It need not be related to anything in general. If I see somebody that's good at something they do, those are my influences.
Right. Do you, as an audio engineer, do you compose tracks or do you just solely mix tracks?
Okay, so I think it is important that I make a distinction between three different kinds of people, right? There
Mm-hmm.
are musicians, there are composers that they just come up with melodic ideas, and they have some sort of a way to put it into a paper where everybody else can understand. That
Mm-hmm.
is a composer.
Right.
And then you have a composer and a music producer. That's the second type. People who know how to come up with a melodic idea as well as put it into software and then come up with ways to make it sound good, right?
Right.
People who add percussion, who are trained, who at least have a basic understanding of how percussion works and how melody intertwines itself with percussion, and everything comes together to make one good product,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those are the second type of people. And the third type of people are people who take care of the entire creative process of writing a song or writing a score, and then they take care of the instrumentation as well as they mix and master it. Those are three different types of people. One of them is called a composer, the other
Mm-hmm.
one is a music producer, the third one is okay. All three of them are musicians at heart. All of them have an idea of how music works and how the different theoretical aspects of music function.
Mm-hmm.
But all three of them, they have varying levels of proficiency with using industry standard language. Let's just say that.
Right. That actually makes a lot of sense because you just assume that. I mean, as a singer, I've always found that if it's the assumption of if I can write a song, I should be able to give melody to it. And I think as a band, that's something we always struggled with when we were jamming and playing music. So I think you, as like an audio producer, what do you have to say about time signatures?
See, time signatures are like a canvas on which you paint your picture. You have a lot of time signatures to be experimenting with. A lot of, I mean, modern day pop, modern day, easy listening music is a lot. A lot of it is in either one time signature, or that time signature happens to be 4/4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of criticism that modern music receives for its time signatures is the fact that they're not experimentative enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then they people tend to not experiment with time signatures, and then I honestly think that is a very sad thing, because different types of storytelling can be achieved with different time signatures. You have adital, you have 4/4, you have compound time signatures, you have relative time signatures. And
Yeah.
I think people should be made aware of different types of melodies, different types of rhythms that can be made with different time signatures. Time signatures is just the tip
Right.
of the iceberg, so to speak. We can all get into a very lengthy discussion about how polymeters work, polyrhythmic environments work, and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, to sum it up, I think time signatures are one aspect of music that a lot of people should know about. It's because time signature is what gives a song its rhythm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if I were to, okay, I mean, Ashish, you're a drummer, right? And if
Hmm.
I were to ask both of you, because I figured out that, when I was trained in classical music, and when I started listening or going into, um, just the basic or just the form of composing, if I'm talking about composing like a glass of milk, uh, what I realized was a lot of people are not aware of time signatures. And yeah, Mohit, I think the reason people base their time signatures in 4 by 4, or the basic very simple thing is pop music may you can sing along with it, right?
Mhm.
And I don't think you can do that. You It's not easy to sing along too with other genres of music, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And I think that's the reason people are not experimenting so much around in pop music as they do in prog or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you both were to explain time signatures in a very easy method, how would you do it?
Ashish, let's start with you, man.
This is for somebody who probably doesn't understand, who just listens to like the basic kind of music.
I think
With that,
time signatures can be attributed to how your head bops while you listen to a song. So how your head moves is sort of matched to the time signature there. So that is how the drummer will play. That's how the bass will go. So the instrument will sort of follow that. So I think again, I think the time signature doesn't necessarily have to come from your percussion instruments as well. Like in our band itself, right? Because I'm not really very good at starting a track. I usually need some sort of bass there, and then I'll jump onto it and I can expand it. So our bassist would often just give me a small track or something like that, and that would sort of become the basic time signature for us. So
Mhm.
based on that, and based on how I felt about that beat, I would then add my drums, stuff like that. So I think the most easiest way to equate it would be to how a person's or someone who hears the song, how their head bobs, how their body moves to a certain song, would sort of be the time signature of that song. How about you, Mohit?
I would paint time signatures much more poetically, because I tend to do that to a lot of things.
Mm.
So I think of time signatures as this kind of journey you go on with every kind of fundamental point that you come back to at the end of the measure. So you have strong beats, you have things called weak beats. Strong beats are where you accentuate a particular instrument, and then weak beats are possibly you play a ghost note or something like that. And it's like at the start of a measure, you get introduced to one particular idea. It can be a percussive idea, it can be a rhythmic idea, it can be a melodic idea, anything. You get introduced to that particular idea, but that idea has to go somewhere, right? But then it's music, so you cannot really keep it unpredictable. I mean, over multiple time signature changes, maybe you can make things a little unpredictable, but then if you stay in the frame of one particular bar or one particular measure, you always have to introduce your idea, substantiate your idea, and then come back to the starting point where you started, if you want to start another new idea, if you want things to sound coherent. So time signatures to me, and time signature as in rhythms, anything, I mean, anything that has to do with time in general when it comes to music, it sort of strikes me as this journey that you go on, once every bar, and then you go into another bar, and then there is a different rhythmic idea in there. There is some variation going on, there is some time. There exists some times where you discuss something entirely in within the frame of one bar, but then The time signature is ultimately what governs how these ideas are expressed. That's what I think.
I mean, speaking of time signatures, Ashish started out as a jazz drummer. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we're
yeah, I
talking.
mean, so I've always wondered, always been very confused on how time signatures work in jazz.
It's weird, man. Like, I mean, like if I were to explain it, I don't know how I would, because basically what or how we were taught, right? We would basically be given these sort of exercises, which
Mm-hmm.
are called rudiments, and we
Right.
sort of play them. Yeah. So the time signatures weren't as much like taught to us like in terms of theory or something. It was sort of, I don't know, like practiced into our hands itself. So that if someone said play this time signature, you would just automatically your hands would start playing that way.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a like it's a weird sort of experience where
So
your hands move faster than your mouth does.
so you started drumming for a metal rock band, right? How did you break? How did you transition from the fact that they taught you in rudiments to the fact that you were, I mean, you had to you got to get time signatures right in a metal band. Like you can't just. I don't think it works the same way. I mean, how did you transition from one place to another?
I mean, our metal band was cracking. Like, we were no Dream Theater, like we followed
Nobody's
basic.
dream theater, bro. I know.
You
Your
know,
metal band
no,
was.
but ours, no, but ours, like the main thing for us was we basically followed 3/4 or 4/4 beats itself. But our like when I drummed with them, it was mainly about speed, and like training for speed is a lot easier than training for rhythm and beats and stuff like that. Because training for speed is you basically do the same thing, but you again you try to move the sticks a bit quicker and on time,
Right.
and you basically get faster uh, as you keep practicing. So transitioning to metal wasn't as hard, but I think sort of um, learning how to control the drums, because when you're playing really fast you just want to just smash every single
Hmm.
piece of the drum. You want to smash every single cymbal as hard as you can, but like learning how to control the volume of each and every single note, that was probably the most difficult bit. So it wasn't really the time signatures, whereas in jazz it's very very controlled. So
Right.
there the time was a bit more of a problem than in metal.
Mhm. So I think when we learned Carnatic, it was you'd be told of talas, but you would never really go into the technical aspect of it. So in my head, it was always Adi Tala, which is I think a 4x4 signature, and Rupaka Tala. How is it different? Because I mean, the same number of beats in the same time interval. So I was like, yeah, it's the same thing. And then I came and then I learned about all these time signature, and I was like, oh, it's actually pretty different.
I like how jazz is more about how you actually capture the feel of the piece being conveyed than just sticking to one particular set of numbers on a sheet of paper. It's all in a jazz band. It's more about how well the percussionist and and the other instrumentalists get along with each other and create chemistry together than it is about each one of them following a certain set of rules.
Mhm.
Rubato is a very very powerful tool in jazz when used properly, and honestly that kind of gives us an idea of what the world is beyond numbers that quantize how we play each note. Interpretation is something that's very strong in jazz, and that's something I really like.
So, if I were to ask you what is the best track or what is the best thing you've mixed?
The best thing I've mixed.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I mean, it's sort of a hard question to answer because
that's the reason I asked
I
you that.
not going easy on me, are you?
Nope.
So, I once signed up for this particular band based out of London by name Saint Agnes. They are a hardcore rock, emo, grunge, punk kind of sounding band.
Mm-hmm.
They put out a record named Daughter of Lucifer a while back.
Mm-hmm.
My mix didn't actually make it to the actual release record, but then mixing it was a blast because the kind of synthesizers they've used, the kind of sound design that has gone into what sounds like a normal rock song, sounds like a normal horrorcore rock song. Honestly, it continues to blow my mind to this day, and that honestly, I think even though it never made it out, I think that's my best mix to date.
Right, right. So, I mean, you probably see. I mean, we ask this to every artist. What is the one thing you hate about the current industry, the current audio mixing industry?
It is the fact that all of our efforts go to waste when people do not appreciate the actual technicalities that go behind making something sound good. You know, for example, it's easy to make a guitar sound good in a room. It's easy to make a piano sound good in a room. It's easy to make a vocalist sound amazing in an open hall. But then to bring the feel of that open hall, to bring the feel of that particular room into a pair of headphones is a lot of work. And I think it's honestly sad that people do not capture the magnitude of effort that goes into these things. I think people should start appreciating the technicalities, the more difficult aspects of how to make something sound good using proper scientific principles more.
And so I was thinking, if someone were to start learning about this, is there any particular resource you would lead them to?
There is this book that Yamaha put this out a while back, and there is this book named Handbook for Sound Engineers by Glenn Barlow.
Hmm.
Honestly, it is the best book, the best reference book for sound engineering that I've come across. There is also a Yamaha book. I keep forgetting the name of. It's called the Sound Reinforcement Handbook.
Hmm.
It deals with a lot of psychoacoustics and how different acoustic principles or different acoustic techniques impact the listener, and what kind of messages some techniques convey, and what, when done, how does what.
Hmm.
There is those two books are pretty much two pillars on which I stand today as somebody who knows a little bit about how sound works.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of channels on YouTube. There is In the Mix. There are a lot more, but the names just do not come to mind at this point. But yeah, there is In the Mix. Michael from In the Mix. I have spoken to him once. He is a really informative guy. He's a very well researched guy that exactly knows what he's doing.
Hmm.
So yes, he is one of the leading resources that I go to every time I need to troubleshoot something within my own mixes. He knows what he's doing. And honestly, for a lot of beginner producers, the access to material or the access to the right material is what they lack. And ultimately, that is what hinders them from cultivating a professional sound.
Hmm.
I think, I think these channels and these resources, when publicized more, would be very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that does make sense. So you, I mean, you joined the Discord channel and you listen to Opeth and you listen to Tool and various lot of bands. How did they influence your sound?
Tool. I started listening to Tool when I was 9 years old, I believe. 8, 9 years old. Yeah, I'm 18 now. I remember. See, Tool. Danny Carey is the most accomplished drummer I've ever listened to. The way he plays with his drumsticks, and honestly, the kind of messages, the kind of stories he paints with his drums, and nothing else. And the kind of technical complexity he demonstrates, all while sounding so effortless. Honestly, I look to him for percussive sound design, and a lot of aspects about rhythm and how to keep track of a beat is something I look up to him a lot for. As for sound design, I am really in love with the way these guys bring out the bass, because honestly, a lot of bands tend to try and overstate. They tend to overstate the guitars in an effort to make their sound more powerful, more upfront, more in your face.
Hmm.
But the appreciation for the bass, the subtlety that they convey it with, and everybody's part in making every other part seem coherent, and to make every other part tell a story of its own, is something I look up to a lot for. About bands like Opeth and Tool, I'm more of a Tool fan than an Opeth fan. I listen to Opeth mostly for the darker sound, but then if I have to go analytical, if there is one band I take inspiration from every day in how I live, how I function, it's Tool. Tool taught me to overthink, and that's exactly what I do.
What got you into mixing and sound producing?
Pretty much, I've wanted to make music since I was 12, 13 years old. See, I was one of those kids with a laptop and FL Studio, how to make music on a Google search open in a Chrome tab somewhere. And I honestly just got myself a trial of FL Studio when I was 14 years old or something. I started putting together basic stuff. I knew how to play basic keyboard at the time. I started putting my own stuff together, and I just basically, as I grew more and more into it, the more I started falling in love with the field for all the technicalities that often go underappreciated, for all of the things that make the field what it is, the kind of science that's involved in it. And coming to the science that's involved in it, I have been pretty much a huge electronics nerd since the age of 6, 7. And the day I discovered that synthesizers were manufactured in hardware and used transistors and knobs and power supplies, that is the day I decided that this was one field I would never turn my back on. I've been getting more and more into hardware synthesizers, really, really wonky stuff that seemingly puts out random, computer generated nonsense. But then you put them into a session and start making them behave. You set a couple of ground rules for them to function by, and they make magic. You know, the moment you turn up one particular knob, it does something to the sound. When you turn up another particular knob, it does something to the sound it just created. And honestly, that is the definition of an endless spiral to me. I'm making a tool reference here, by the way.
Yes, I realized.
The This is the definition of an endless spiral, and once you get in there, there is absolutely no going out. You just expand your boundaries, just look elsewhere, just look for new ways to make a sound more interesting, and goes on and on and on. I do not even realize it's been 4 years, it's been 5 years since started doing this, as a hobby, and now it's grown into some sort of a side gig. And I
Right.
actually, every day that I spend, every minute that I spend in a session in a digital audio workstation is a minute that I learn from. That is what keeps me in this field.
That's actually pretty insightful, to be honest.
Mhm.
Ashish, this is a question for you. Do you think that human psychology is very related to sound engineering?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, as
I mean, the way you
most,
perceive sound is different, right? Like major and minor keys and everything.
yeah, like I mean, as Mohit said, like books that it taught him how different variations of one sound can make a person feel different things. And I think even like if you see it, how sound is designed in movies and in games, like for example, if you take like the battle theme of any game, or if you take like the fight scene of
Oh,
any
by the way,
movie,
Ashish plays a lot of video games. He spends all his free time playing video games.
I
I
love those games.
recently spent every single pie I've made over the last week on video games.
Which one?
Ashish
Which
needs
one?
to be last
I, I
now.
Which
just I
one?
just I just pre-ordered
The
Cyberpunk
beater.
2077.
Nice. I have I bought it when I think February. I was waiting for the June release date, then it got delayed twice.
I was like, okay, I just looked at the minimum specification sheet and I was like, no, my PC is
Yeah.
not going to run this. I have a potato
Really?
PC. No. I mean, yeah, it's going to run it obviously, but then not at 1080p high or ultra, man.
No, but like the maximum settings that they have put is a 1060, which is very low, especially now with like the 30 series that's out now. 1060 is like
30 series
extremely
that's
low.
out now and the 10 rupees that's currently chilling in my pocket. Yes.
No, but the if you buy a 1660, that's what 15K, right? And that will come you, I think, for the next 4 5 years. So,
Ashish, I'm a laptop gamer with a 1650,
oh,
please.
oh, but 1650 should be fine.
It should be fine for 1080p medium.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's more than enough. No, Watch Dogs also, I think, came out with the same one.
Watch Dogs 2, I believe. I used to play Watch
No,
Dogs
no,
2. It
no, no.
used to run fine.
Watch Dogs, the third game, which is coming
Third
out
one,
in
yeah.
October.
Hmm.
That one also, the PC specs are pretty similar to this one.
I think I have to take a closer look at that.
Dude, by the way, nice guest you got, dude. Someone who actually understands gaming. Brilliant. First guest.
Nice.
I've been obsessed with Tomb Raider since I was 10, man. my entire desk, my entire lighting setup in my room, my entire wallpaper, my phone, everything is Lara Croft themed.
Because the game is so good, or
Like
some other
Let's
Angelina
not.
reason?
Jolie.
Let's not. See, here's the
No, so
thing.
yeah.
Okay, so Lara Croft. I mean, I've played every game since 1996. I mean, every Tomb Raider game since 1996.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and honestly, the games in the beginning were what got me hooked on. I was 4 years old at the time. I was seeing, a female character do backflips and defeat bears in a game. What else did I need? I was five. I was four. I was 5 years old
Mm,
at maximum. What else did I need?
mm. Dude, if you like those games, then you should try the Uncharted series, man.
I've heard that a lot. I have to try out the Uncharted series,
I
No,
know,
especially
because
three and
right?
four, I guess.
no, because what happened, right? The Uncharted series sort of copied from Lara Croft, and now the Lara Croft reboot games are copying from that series.
Oh, damn. I didn't know
I've
that.
finished. I've
Dude,
finished all
be
three
quiet, man.
games in the reboot series thrice.
Hey, wait 1 second. I'm muting myself. Ennamma.
Okay, wait,
I'm
okay. So
recording a
we'll have
podcast.
2 more minutes
Wait.
before she comes back and
Hey,
explodes. So
I'm here. I can hear both of you, by the way.
no, okay, but last thing, right? To play the Uncharted ones, at least the PS2, PS3 ones, right? You can put on the PS2 and PS3 software on your phone. The PCSX2 and the RCPS3,
Oh, damn. I
if
didn't
I'm
Oh,
not
know
the
that,
mistaken.
dude.
emulators.
No, so these are like PS3 copying software. So basically, you can take the ISO data, right, and you can play it through these softwares. So basically, my
Oh,
entire PS3 game collection is on my PC now.
that's fun. I've never had a console. I mean,
I
I
play
had a
League of
console.
Legends if anybody's interested.
I tried my hand at Dota. I
I'm
tried my
level
hand at
6
MOBA games.
Mastery on
Nothing
Nico,
came out.
level 5 on Brand, and level 6 on Karma, and level 5 on Misfortune. If anybody's interested, please add me.
Yes, please
Drop,
add me.
drop your at, drop your at, Nirupama. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
drop
going
your ad.
to, but then everybody will blame me for inting, so it's fine.
That's fine. Like maybe someone who's an expert in League of Legends will join your game and help you, gain XP fast.
No, that they'll lose all LP. They'll like start getting demoted ranks and stuff. Like this happened to my friends, and that's the reason they don't play ranked with me anymore. So it's fine.
That's why you stick with single player games. If you fail, nobody knows.
No,
You can try it again
that's what I
and
do.
again.
Like I don't play with them anymore. I just play like I just go normals and then tilt people all by myself, and then I'll steal kills and everything. So,
Dude, single player is like the best, man. You
bro,
can
I
just try
started playing
again
this
until
game
you
called
win.
Dauntless. It's pretty nice.
I've
Yeah,
heard of
dude,
that.
Dondas is pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's
No,
nice. But my PC, no, it's a workstation, and I can cook Maggie on it. Like I can make rice and all. Some
no,
rasam
but
also I can keep.
no, but like if you put it on like low settings, if you have a good CPU, the game should play fine because the GPU is basically used to make the game look pretty. If
Oh,
if you have a decent CPU, then it should run.
I also play
How
Among Us and Minesweeper.
Among
Among
Us
Us
is
is
just blowing
fun.
up now,
It's
man.
fun.
I know,
Blowing up.
right? So many memes on that.
It was
Any
Let's
basically
call.
it was basically Fall Guys and then Among Us now. Oh yeah. Last question. Have you both gotten the EGS store thing? Because they're giving away so many amazing
Bro,
games.
you know what? This Ashish will
I
text
have.
me every November and he'll be like, Macha, you know what? Epic games, everything's free. Download all games. I'm
No,
like, no, bro. Leave me
no,
alone.
like no, you don't need to download it, but purchase it. So if you ever do have enough money and we all become famous and we make millions, then we will be able to buy a better PC and play it. You know.
Makes
That
sense.
happened to me. That happened to me. I ended up upgrading my laptop just so I could play Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Nice. No, but yeah, like the EGS store, right, they're just giving amazing games every time. And even this week, they had advertised one game, but they just added two more. Like that only, for free.
Subway Surfer Squad, join me.
Mobile gamers will get away.
We
Yeah,
can
bro.
all
I
agree.
play
You know
real
what?
games.
Everything aside, we can just agree on the fact that Solitaire and Minesweeper are the two best games ever made.
Yeah, bro. If you know
Wait,
how to play
wait.
Minesweeper, I think your life is sorted. Like, you
No,
can defeat anything.
no. No, but Minesweeper, right? Once I learned how it was played, it was just like, wow, dude, that's actually brilliant. Because
Yeah.
the numbers, right? It basically indicates how many mines that
Don't tell people how
square
to
is
play
touching.
Minesweeper on the podcast. What is wrong with you?
But they should.
No,
Everyone's
no, no,
mind
no,
will
no,
be
no, no.
blown.
No.
Wait a second, I
Everyone's
thought this
mind
was
will,
BTS.
It's the secret of the universe.
yeah.
Can you just check that in BTS real quick? We don't want people getting to know secrets.
Yeah.
I took 2 years to learn Minesweeper after opening it.
Yeah, you can't just let out secrets like this. I'm sorry.
Why not?
I'll
I
delete
It's
just
you.
on
feel like
BTS.
the Illuminati is real.
I'll delete you.
Mine,
Stop telling people how to play
Minesweeper can be
Minesweeper.
beaten. I'm just like that meme with the guy with that huge map and all those arrows. Like Minecraft can be beaten.
Yes. Yes, don't be that guy. You're a Karen, basically.
I'm not a Karen. Okay,
Yeah, you're telling people how to play Minesweeper. That's what Karens do.
no, I'm explaining how to play
No,
Minesweeper.
you're not
A
supposed to.
Karen would
People should figure it out
a
themselves.
Karen would come in and just be like, "Oh, you're playing Minesweeper. Do you have the license?" No,
No.
you just got it for free. Then how can you play? That's what a Karen would do.
Okay, man,
I'm
but
just
don't tell people
explaining
how to
it.
play Minesweeper.
Why not?
Because
Fun.
no, they should. Mohit, I bet you agree with me on this. Like, we figured Minesweeper on our own. Like, we didn't go to some podcast and listen to all that stuff. Like
Yes,
Ashish
but
probably did. So I don't
yes,
think
but
other people
we
should
can
do that.
help the next generation. We can be the heroes
No, you
that we
don't
didn't
need
have.
to. You can, but do you
Or we
really want to
can
be the
be the
hero?
people that are equivalent to people who spoil movies for others.
Yeah. See, Ashish is like the
I
person who
mean,
comes
most
and
movies are
spoils Star
pretty shit
Wars.
these days. Yeah, because look, dude, Star Wars has become so shit now, man.
He's the
The
person
last
who
two Star
comes
Wars movies
before
are horrible.
Last Jedi and then tells you, like, just before you're gonna enter the theater, he's like, this person dies.
Don't name this person. I haven't watched The
No,
Last
no, no,
Jedi.
I won't name. I'm not Ashish. Ashish should probably do that.
Here's the thing, right? I haven't watched all the Star Wars movies. I just know that most of them that I have seen were pretty shit
I
because
bet
the
you'll
first two were
Google
okay.
Avengers spoilers and stuff.
I don't watch the Avengers, dude. I don't
But I
like.
bet you'll
I
Google it just to,
no, but like I missed the first seven movies, and then I was just like, it's too late to sort of jump on the train now. So I was just like, leave it.
uh,
I'll I'll stick to my Simpsons and my what's that other show? Uh, South Park. Yeah,
mhm,
I'll just stick to that.
makes
Leave
sense.
the Avengers to the people who've seen it from the start.
Of course.
Oh, and Tony Stark dies.
See? These
I
are the
am
people who
now.
Everyone
come
knows.
and tell you how to play Minesweeper, by the way.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Like,
Okay, very well.
Everybody
my
doesn't know.
Nobody
my
Look,
knows.
I didn't
timeline
know.
was just Tony Stark dies.
I
My
didn't
entire
know.
timeline.
Ashish, I didn't know you spoiled Avengers for me. Who am I
Well,
gonna
he
love
dies.
3000
Okay, take it.
now?
Well, he dies. Okay, so just watch it expecting him to die, and then when he doesn't, you'll be like, "Wow, he didn't die."
So you're basically asking me to form an alternate reality in which Tony Stark doesn't die. I hate the fact that I'm basically confirming his spoiler.
I didn't do anything like
Thereby,
that. I was
thereby
just bitching about
recreating,
Ashish on the podcast.
thereby recreating the Avengers in your own life.
Yeah,
The Avengers
I'll
timeline.
just name them Revengers.
Yeah, or just averagers.
I play League of Legends. I'll get a Mastery 7 in Nico if I get two more escalates, but that's not happening anytime soon. So,
Okay,
like,
so
yeah, that's about it.
okay, since we're listing
I play
games,
CSGO.
I
I
play
have
Persona
an
5.
unhealthy amount of hours in the game.
What?
I play CSGO and I have an unhealthy number of hours in the game.
Oh, bro, I used to play CS, but it's all with bots and all the bots around with like knives and stuff, and I have this cool rifle which I go around shooting everybody with.
I have 2700 hours in CSGO. I don't know how to feel.
What the fuck? 2700.
Yes, I mean on two of my accounts. One account has 1100 hours, the other one has 1600.
Wow.
Ouch, dude.
Wow. Okay, since we're all listing our games, I play the Yakuza series, I play the Persona series. What else? I play God of War, GTA. I played the Tomb Raider series as well, but only the first two, not the last one.
The
And
Shadow is
Uncharted.
amazing.
I
have to
play
try
with
it out.
feelings and I play the game of life.
Everyone does that.
Yeah, see?
I basically evaluate how long it would take for me to fall to the ground from my terrace.
Ah, the
Wow,
game
that
of
got
life.
incredibly dark.
Ouch. No, that's very dark.
That got incredibly dark.
Are we cutting that out?
Yes, please.
No, no, no. We are keeping that. Like, we're just going to be like, that meme. You have to say it's fine, but you're not fine, but you can't really bring it up. I'm just going to put that with your picture there.
That is sad. Now we cut out that part.
Oh god, I get carried away sometimes with dark jokes.
I've
Okay,
realized.
I get carried away all the way across the Indian Ocean.
Just
Well,
like your body would have
wanderlust in
been
times of
had
COVID
you
sounds
gone
fun.
through that dark joke.
I mean, literal dark jokes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so
I'm
like
going to leave that open to interpretation.
we were talking about music production and mixing. So Mohit, if you had one word to say to every aspiring music producer out there or music audio engineer out there, what would you say?
Practice. One word.
No, like make it a sentence or like two sentences, no?
Practice is a
You're
sentence.
asking for one
Bro,
word.
shut
Yeah,
up,
practice is
Ashish.
a sentence.
Yeah.
I'm muting
Practice
you.
is a sentence.
I'm muting you.
So what? I'll just add myself
Okay,
in post.
a few words you would like to say, Mohit. My God, you guys are
There will
fun.
there will come times where you do not have even an inkling of creativity within you. There will be nights where you will cry yourself to sleep because you couldn't make something sound good. There will be months that will go by without you coming up with a single good idea. All I'm going to tell you is, what, power through it. You'll find an idea that will click. For example, the busy birthday boys thing for me, it took me a month to come up with the complete idea, a complete month, and then 35 hours in the studio to come up with the actual beat.
Mm-hmm.
you know making a 3-minute song need not have to be in 3 minutes. You can take 3 years, but then if you take 3 years, it is going to sound good if you put in 3 years worth of effort into it. So just keep practicing. Don't give up. That's all I tell them.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty insightful. I think this has been a very informative podcast. I've learned a lot about,
CSGO.
yes, video games and music production. Yeah, this is Nirupama. This has been an incredibly fun episode. A lot of arguing. They're still going to continue arguing. So, yeah. By the way, we have a Discord server for the podcast.
Link in bio.
Yeah, link in
Link in
bio. We
description.
we will soon be
Description.
100
Link
members
in bio.
once 78 more members join the podcast server. So yeah. So your co-host Ashish and
Okay, just one thing. To the people there who are adding me on Discord, I don't use Discord that often, so I'm sorry if I missed your messages because I saw two messages addressed to me. I think two
they
days
wished you
ago.
happy birthday, by the way,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
like
So
two
yeah,
weeks
so
ago.
sorry to you guys. I don't use Discord, so yeah, I didn't
Horrible
see that
people.
until very late. No, but like, wait, they're on the episode now, so that's Thank you both very much,
Mm-hmm.
whoever you
Thank
guys
you.
are.
It's been my absolute pleasure. It's not often that I get to interact with people that are as enthusiastic about a field as you guys are. It's been a blast. It was
Gaming
it
or
was
music?
everything I
We're
wanted it to
glad.
be.
Not gaming, bro.
Everything,
I think he's talking about music.
everything in general.
Well, yeah, this is fun. Okay, this is Nirupama. That was Mohit, and yeah, your another co-host who keeps talking about video games all the time. If you like what you listen to or you want to be a part of the podcast, do fill in the form in the bio, and we'll get back to you. Thank you, and have a good day.
I just wanted to have a go at mixing it because honestly, that was a very alternative, very different sounding track. They have a very hardcore grunge kind of vibe going on, but with very aggressive instrumentalism. Um, Wait a second. So I'm sorry. Can I take this again?
Sure, 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 sure.
Instrumentalism is not a word. God damn it!
Hey,
I
that's
said
okay. It's
instrumentation.
peaceful. We make
Fine.
up our own words. Like Ashish pronounces words wrong and all. Like Mary Biscuit and all he says wrong. I don't mind.
No, here's the
Very
thing. I have my internal Grammarly going wrong. I have my internal Grammarly like going red every time I say a word that doesn't exist.
It's fine. Like eventually, when we become big enough, We'll take all these words, put them on a t-shirt, and make a ton of money.
Yeah, we'll do that. Don't worry. This is all marketing, bro. Listen to Ashish. He's the commerce student here.
I knew it. The moment he said, let's get more views out of